But yeah, thank you to ATG. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking to you about Office 365. My name is George Tubb. I'm the Cloud Partner Development Manager of Microsoft, and I'll be given the task of giving you guys a presentation on the business benefits of 365 in about 15-20 minutes. So unfortunately, we don't have enough time to go through everything, so I'm going to do a brief introduction, going to do a very, very quick demo, and then we'll open the floor to some Q&A. Cool. Just before I start, just a quick show of hands. Has everybody heard of 365 before? Yeah? And is anybody subscribing to a 365 service at all through ATG? Yeah? Okay, a few of you. Okay, cool. So I wanted to just set the scene, really, talk to you a little bit about the business challenges that we see in the SMB market at Microsoft. This kind of really underpins some of the business value that the 365 solution provides. So the first one, I'm sure very, very relevant to a lot of you and your employees. It's about that many people need to work on whatever device they have on them, and from lots of different variety of devices. So we find employees spend a big proportion of their day actually away from their desk, and they want to be able to be productive, collaborate, and get access to their files from whatever they have on them. And that could be, a laptop, a tablet, it can be a phone, or actually in some cases it might even just be a browser. So for example, if you're in an airport terminal or something like that, and you don't necessarily have a device on you, and you've just got a PC somewhere in the terminal, you can go and be productive with 365 just in a browser. And kind of connected to that is the fact that people in your organization who need to collaborate together, they might not actually be in the same physical location. Sounds obvious to say, but as businesses start to grow, you might have different office locations. You might have field-based staff, sales staff out in the field. They need to connect back effectively to operational staff back at headquarters. They need to be able to seamlessly connect. So actually, you want to be able to work actually anywhere, anytime, and from whatever device you're using. We're finding employees a lot of the time these days are trying to enable flexible home working as well, as part of a mantra in their business, and that's something else that we're seeing as a trend in the SMB market. And actually, you probably really want to address both of these challenges in a way that's not having the burden of managing a complex IT infrastructure. So we find a lot of organizations, IT providers, they're spending a lot of their time just keeping the lights on, actually not really focusing on providing solutions and applications that really mean business value to that organization. And we want to do that in a cost-effective way. So looking for solutions that allow us to address these challenges without the need necessarily to have large capex expenditures. With being able to get ROI from existing IT investments, and also to be able to standardize on existing platforms. So these are some of the challenges we're seeing. I'm sure some of them resonate with you as well. And the solution that we feel addresses these is a 365. So Office 365 is the marketing term, is a complete office in the cloud. And actually, just to focus on that office piece for a moment, you do actually get 5 desktop copies of Office Pro Plus with your subscription. So these are locally installed copies of the applications we know and love. So it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, those kind of technologies. And alongside that, those desktop apps, you'll get the ability to use them on mobiles, on tablets. So does anybody have an iPad, for example? Get editing rights on iPads. And also I talked earlier about the fact that even if you don't have your own device, you can actually be productive in a browser, which is actually something I'll spend a bit of time showing you in the demo. Office Online means you can go and edit those files in Internet Explorer, Safari, whatever. So it very much is Office. You get 5 copies per user to install locally on your device. But it's not just that, it's also a suite of business services and benefits as well. So you'll also get business class email. So this is a 50 gigabyte mailbox, the ability to have unlimited archiving, and also lots of different security and compliance policies that we bake into the product. That's underpinned by Exchange Online as a technology. Then there's file sharing and collaboration. So that is underpinned by our technology called SharePoint Online. This enables you to collaborate across all your devices, share files, do co-authoring. And we do have also a personal business storage solution called OneDrive for Business as well, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. And the third technology as a service is Link Online. So Link is a technology, very, very powerful. It's mainly used for instant messaging, conferencing, HD video party, and I'll do a little demonstration of that shortly. But very, very powerful productivity tool, which really shapes the way that I personally go about getting information and be productive in my day. And alongside that, Microsoft provides an element of the technical support layer. It's a 99.9% financially backed SLA, and you can get access to these technologies anywhere, and from any device. So, I'm going to dive into a bit of a demo, to be honest. Just want to show you a little bit about the experience of the web application version. So I mentioned at the start, we will provide desktop clients. You get 5 locally installed copies. Very, very rich experience. That's kind of what you're used to. This is the version that you'd get through the browser. So what I want to show you here is this main home screen. So you'll see instantly, I'm not Katie, by the way, this is a provision demo account. Initially, it gives you the option to install Office on your devices. So if you were to go and locally install via a pull deployment, then you can go and just click download. And you'll see you've got the option here for Mac users as well. So I believe you've got some Mac users in your business there. It would recognize the operating system you're running, and it would let you download the latest version of Office for Mac. And also the ability to set up mobiles and tablets as well, straight from here. So that's where you download Office, and there's also a quick start to the different collaboration tools with Office Online. So I haven't got time to dive into every single aspect. I just want to show you some of the key new features within Office. So this is the Outlook web app. And actually, I spend a lot of my time just using the web app. I have the desktop Outlook client, very, very rich, but when I'm out on the road, I mainly use web app to get my work done. So this is kind of pre-populated with a bunch of email content. And there's a particular one I'm going to draw your attention to here from my colleague, Garrett Vargas. So Garrett here is asking me if I can send him an Excel file that I showed him in a previous presentation. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start applying to Garrett. And then I'm just going to forget about that and go to this email from Belinda, as we all do. I think we chop and change on our inboxes quite regularly. The real difference is there that now it still tags it as a draft. So if you're in any older versions of Outlook, be it Outlook 2010, 2007, something like that, if you're anything like me, that would open up the draft in a new window, or just go to your drafts folder, never to be seen again until the end of the week when I pick it up again and realised that, oh yeah, I'm supposed to reply back to Garrett. So a really good feature is actually you can do inline reply, and it also tags it as a draft so that when I'm going through my inbox, I don't forget about it. So actually I'm just going to go back into this, continue editing, and you'll notice it's replying in line, so it's not opened up another screen like it does in older versions of Outlook. So I was fine. I get a lot of clutter. I'll go and click on the little O in the desktop ribbon, and I'd have about 5 or 6 different drafts open. It really clutters up my experience. Now, really seamless. This is all through the web app. Keeps everything very simple. So I'm just going to reply back to Garrett really quickly and tell him that I'm going to attach the file. And what I'm going to do is purposely not actually attach the file. And a new really good feature of Outlook is it goes, we've scanned the mail, and we've seen that you've got the word attach or attachment in there. You've not actually attached anything. You're being a numpty. Have you forgotten to attach the file? Which,
I can't believe what such a small little thing in it.
to be honest, this has saved me on many an occasion. I've got a 1-minute delay on my inbox as well, which I sort of hope would be a bit of a buffer so I can remember if I forgot something after a minute, but it still happens. So really cool feature. You get this in the desktop client as well, which is a much richer experience. But just to show you, we're baking some of this into our online technologies as well. So I'm not going to send this. I'm going to skip out of Outlook and just go and look at the calendar again that I'm getting in the web app. What I really want to show you is actually how easy it is to set up an online meeting. So we had a problem last sort of Christmas time with all the snow with Microsoft, where health and safety reasons they went, okay, no one's allowed to travel in. And we had all these face-to-face meetings that we had to then go and change to online virtual meetings. I'm sure many of you had the same types of challenges with transport and getting around. But even in just the web app, all I've got to do is click this little button here, and using the power of the Link Online technology, I've turned that face-to-face meeting into a Link meeting. And what that's done is it's pre-provisioned a space on the Link server that we host and run for you, and I would just click that and I can go and join the Link meeting using the Link client. Or if I want to, there'll be conference information where someone could just dial in and get voice. But rather than having to go to a separate third-party conferencing system, paste in a bunch of conference details into the email, I can do it straight here from this button. So really, really easy way of setting up virtual meetings and being productive. I'm going to skip people, tasks, and newsfeed because they're fairly straightforward, but the technology I want to show you is actually OneDrive for Business. Has anybody heard of OneDrive or SkyDrive in the past? We've announced this week actually that we're now giving unlimited storage to OneDrive for Business. So you can have unlimited files in here. This will be sort of feeding down in the next couple of months. But yeah, really, really good announcement. So it's gone from 1 terabyte, which to be honest was enough for me anyway, to now unlimited. So what I want to show you here is a little bit about how I can be productive with the files in my OneDrive for Business folder, regardless of what device I'm on or if I need to work on them offline as well. So you see I've got some demo files populated here. If I wanted to edit these, I would just click on it and you'll notice it's opening it up in Word Online. So this hasn't opened it up in the desktop client. I'm just doing it in the browser because I've got internet connectivity. If I wanted to, I've got the ability to edit in Word. If I think I need some of that full fat functionality, I could do that. Or if I'm happy just to make a few changes, a few tweaks, be it to a proposal or, I don't know, some sort of presentation that I'm doing for the business, I could open up just in Word Online while I'm on the move. So really, really simple to edit, even if I don't have the desktop client. And actually, I might actually want to share some of these files with my colleagues. And I could do that really simply just by clicking the share button. And I have the ability either to just add someone in directly with an email address, and they can be external to my business, it could be a customer, or it could be someone internal. And I've got the ability to change the editing rights as well. So if I just want to share a file with someone external to one of my customers and I want them to view it, I simply say I want them to view it. Or if I give them editing rights, I can change that as well. But if I get to a point where I want to send it to multiple people, I can actually just go and simply get a link and again apply the same editing rights. So what this is really starting to do is to help you move away from the type of world where we would just attach large files to emails and you're putting all that strain on your email pipe. What we do at Microsoft, we just host it in OneDrive, get a link, stick it in an email, say, hey guys, here's the report. And the great thing is that when everyone clicks on that link and they go in and make edits, it saves back to the same place. You're not having versioning issues where 7 different people have sent you a reply back saying, hey, here are my thoughts, here are my edits, and you've got 5, 6 different copies. So it's really moving away from that type of world. Also, if you need to, you can just use this sync button to sync the files locally to your file explorer. So I think I often get the question of, what if my connection goes down? Well, it doesn't really matter. You've got them on your file explorer. You can work on them locally. So for example, I would have a presentation in here. I might be working on that in the office, and then I need to go and get on a train. I would simply continue working. If my connectivity went down, it's fine because I'm working on the file locally. And then when it came back up, those changes I've made would just sync back to the cloud. And then it would go across all the devices that I've synced those files to. So that's OneDrive. I'm going to show you really briefly also SharePoint Online. So SharePoint, think of that as our team pooled collaboration solution. So OneDrive for Business is all about my personal storage. It's kind of like my documents on the C drive. SharePoint Online is all about team collaboration. And there's a few things you can do. So on this particular demo that Katie's got, she's got a finance team site that she's created. You'll notice that she's got several files that are unique to this group that they share and can collaborate on. And what's really good is that actually they can collaborate on these files at the same time using technology called co-authoring. So if the three of us, for example, were in the same team and we wanted to work on the same document at the same time, because I didn't want to have to wait for you to come out and we were working on different sections, what it would do, co-authoring would lock out, even to a sentence level, the document so we could work on it. If you wanted to and you had to, you could check the file out so no one could touch it. But actually, you could be a lot more productive in shared environments. So really, really powerful technology, co-authoring. You'll see as well with this kind of team site, you can actually embed files as well. So I didn't even have to open this. If it was a document that I need to get access to every Monday morning, say a sales report, and it refreshed, I could just bake this into SharePoint Online and get access to it without even having to open it, either in Excel web app or even the Excel desktop client. So very, very simple. The final thing I want to show you is if you're an IT administrator or the IT manager, I just want to give you a view of what the admin portal looks like. So this is something that ATG would do on your behalf and administer for you. But just to give you a view, this is what the console looks like. So on the left-hand side, you can set up domains, groups, do billing, control your users, that kind of thing. If at any point you need to add new users, you can just simply go in there and scale up and down, adding new users. And we also give you a current overview of the health of the service as well. Really simply, I also want to show you one of the desktop clients as well, which has been a really rich experience for me working at Microsoft. And this has probably changed the way I work the most out of any of the tools. So this is the desktop version of Lync, underpinned by the Lync Online solution. And I've got a bit of a rule that if I'm exchanging emails with someone and it goes over 2 emails, I think, no, this is a waste of time. I can see based on their presence information, which also links to the calendar, if they're available for me to go and actually have a conversation with them instead. I could do that straight from Outlook. Katie's got a colleague here called Garth. And for example, we might have been exchanging emails and I think, look, actually I'd quite like to just send him an instant message instead. I've actually got someone back at Microsoft who logged into this account. He did tell me he was in a meeting at 11, but we'll see if we can get a video call going with him as Garth. But really simply, I could send him an instant message. I could choose to give him a call if I want to, straight from Lync. So Lync can be used as an enterprise voice breakout as well, so it can actually replace PBX phone systems. I can also choose just to do a video call with him. There I am. Let's actually see if he's free for a video call. Bad manners. Ooh. He's done his hair especially, very good. Hope he's wearing a wig now, it'll be hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on mute, but hopefully we'll see Garth come up very shortly. But yeah, very, very powerful technology. Give him a little wave. And actually, if I'm talking to Garth and the context and the subject of the email is all about actually sharing some content. If I've got a particular problem, maybe with a file on my desktop, I could choose actually just to share my monitor with him, either one. So it could be this one or this one here. I could choose to give him control of that so he can take editing rights and actually take control of my machine. I could share a program. We could simply do PowerPoint. Or we can actually be interactive as well. So if you use Lync as a conferencing solution, either for your business or you're doing webinars, that kind of thing, you can really simply do polls and Q&As. Also really good for technical support as well. So we use this for tech support at Microsoft in IT. We simply link the engineer and he says, okay, let me take control of the machine. Nice and simple. And this is all from Lync Online, a solution you guys can have through 365. Also, you can discuss OneNote files, if anybody uses OneNote for capturing information. And I can also attach files as well. So rather than sending that through the Exchange pipe, you can do that through Lync. Okay, so thank you. Oh, God. Oh, it's Harry. Okay. So I'm just going to dive back into the presentation really quickly. Okay. So in terms of the individual components of 365 that we've covered, we've talked about Office Pro Plus, the application side, so you get 5 local copies. You can also have it across all of your mobile devices, so whatever device you're working from, and actually from whatever platform. Microsoft embraced lots of different operating systems. You get Office there, you can be productive. We've also got Exchange Online, we've also got SharePoint Online, and we've got Lync. But actually, if you were to buy them as a solution or a package, you could speak to ATG about that. These are some of the offerings. So we have SMB solutions and also enterprise solutions, and that's basically dictated by the size of organisation and the functionality that you need. So if you were, for example, looking just to get to the latest version of Office, so the desktop client is based on Office 2013 Professional Plus. Then as an SMB, you can look to just get Office 365 Business. That comes with currently 1 terabyte of OneDrive for business storage as well. But as I mentioned, that will be unlimited in the next couple of months. If you were an enterprise and you had some advanced needs, then you can get Office 365 Pro Plus. The main difference there in terms of advanced needs is probably the type of deployment. So in this version, each user would just go and click install, download, as I showed you on the home page. With Pro Plus, actually a central IT manager could do a push deployment out to all the machines on the domain. That's the real difference there. If I wanted, for example, just the cloud services, I might already have a modern version of Office. I'm happy with the standardization I've got in my business. But I want to maybe move my email workload to the cloud and maybe get some benefits of Lync Online as well. You can look at just getting the cloud services on their own. So if you're an SMB, that's Business Essentials. If you're an enterprise, that's E1. Or you might find that you actually want both. You want a mixture of the two. So you get Business Premium as an SMB, which is Office applications, OneDrive, and all the cloud services as well. Or if you're an enterprise, that'll be the E3 functionality. And actually, we find by the time that you're actually looking for more than a couple of different subscriptions, the Business Premium scheme makes a lot more sense anyway. So that's me really. I want to say thank you in 32 different languages to finish up, and then happy to take any questions. Yes.
If I client license
Yeah.
for Office, can employees use it on their home?
They can, yes.
So
So we find.
It didn't seem like there's any control from the IT support guy as to where they're downloading it.
Yeah, they can do. You can put restrictions on it, but if you want to enable home working, which I think most employers would probably be supportive of that anyway, as an employee benefit, then we see that quite a lot.
Sure.
I think, average users have about, I think it's like 3.2 devices these days, something like that. So we find by the time you've licensed your desktop, maybe a laptop and then a tablet and a phone, something like that, you've got a couple of licenses left over. So a lot of people go and use it at home.
Sure. And if they left, then that license will automatically get.
Yeah, so you have a 365 provisioned account and a login.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to log in every time, but with Office Pro Plus, it means you have to have connectivity every 90 days.
Right.
If it doesn't get that, then it goes into reduced functionality and then locks down.
Right.
And there are further controls on top of that the organisation can place.
Yeah, we have various customers that do give their employees in because they want them to do the work of a night and of a weekend. Sure. And then we've got, well, it's true. And then we've got lots of people that don't tell them. And the directors and the senior management will all have it, and the kids will have it on their machine at home and that sort of thing. But the rest of the staff, I think, is dependent on whether you want to give it them or not, or whether you see them a need for them having it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it true you can only log on, say one person can only log on at any one time? So obviously, if you were logged on at the office, you couldn't sort of give it to somebody else to use. You'd have to shut your application down at home and go home and...
So each user would have their own login, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you get 5 copies per user. So you couldn't spread those 5 licenses, for example, with one login across 5 people.
But I mean, if 2
It's
people
not designed
logged in
in
at
that
the same time with the same account from different locations, would the could there be licence restrictions on, say, one would be a clone?
Yeah, it wouldn't work. I think you can only have one login
That's what I mean.
at the same time. Yeah. But I guess you wouldn't need to do that anyway because.
No, because the computer would know that somebody else was.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
But you'd have your own login and the other employee would have theirs.
I was talking about the same login.
To what?
So say one person.
Like if you'd left it on at home and then gone to
Yeah.
the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd all have, you can download 5 versions, so there's no login there anyway. So you'd have a version of Office at home, at work,
Yeah.
on your tablet, on your phone.
Right. Yeah. So it's after the 90 days that. So I didn't know that. It's after the 90 days that it would start challenging.
Yeah, every 90 days it just needs to get an internet connection just to check it's a valid solution, basically.
5 times, then you've got 90 days to.
Yeah. But if you've got a constant connection, or you're connected at least once in 90 days, it's fine, yeah. But I mean, I guess to answer the point, it's you can log in at different locations, but it will log you out on the other one, if that makes sense.
That's only if you're using the web-based.
But that's only if you're using the web-based client, yeah. If you download it locally, it's there, yeah. So if I've downloaded it locally, actually on 5 different versions of this, it's all there. As long as each of those 5 connects within 90 days, it won't go into reduced functionality, if that makes sense.
And it would still work if, say, on the home, if I installed it on my home computer, my wife logged into it or my kids logged into it, they would still be able to have access to it, or would it be reliant solely on my login?
No, there's a technology called shared computer activation, so you can have one copy there.
Yeah.
This is the technology we use in in an RDS
Yeah.
environment as well.
Right.
So you could have several different logins, and it would stay there, and you would just get different access. Yeah. But I mean, you obviously you could work offline with the desktop client. So yeah.
You see the customer using it online, Word online.
No.
Because why would you if it's on the computer? Why wouldn't you use it locally? Would be mine.
Yeah.
That would
sure.
be me personally. I've got 365 and I use it locally, so I don't have to log in as such. And I've got it on 5 devices.
I guess the value of showing you the web-based version is kind of the whole concept of that you can actually be productive with whatever platform device you've got and wherever you are. So I've had it a couple of times where I've not had my laptop. My phone, I can go through documents, consume them and make basic edits. But actually I want a bit more functionality. So I just go and find a PC. It doesn't have Office installed, but I can go in the browser and make edits and that kind of thing. So that's the real reason for showing you. Because you're right, not a lot of people actually know about the web apps. Yeah.
Does it replace Dropbox when sending large files of video across?
So Dropbox is very similar to the OneDrive for Business solution. So yeah, I mean Dropbox is about personal storage, right? And you can share that and sync it across different devices.
So you still got
OneDrive for Business exactly the same. Yeah.
What I mean, does 365 replace Dropbox? That's what I was trying to ask.
If you wanted to, yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to know is
Up to you.
the bandwidth situation in rural areas.
Okay.
What problems have you got with that with 365?
I guess it depends on what you're looking at. So with even with like internet tethering, for example, we use Exchange Online as a company. So you'd have Office locally installed anyway, so that's fine. From an email perspective, you could run Exchange Online on a 2-3 meg connection, something like that.
Your email's got to come in somehow anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
your email is leaving on that connection anyway, on that pipe. So it's not really any different. If you were, for example, looking to do HD video conferencing, kind of like a little bit like what I just did there with Garth, you'd be struggling with a 2-3 meg connection. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, does this replace 2007, Office 2007?
It can do, yeah. It is, yeah. So you'd be getting 2013 Office as a locally installed download. Yeah. Which
what's the cost of it?
the jump from 2007 to 13 is quite vast as well.
What's the cost of it?
Speak to ATG because we work directly with ATG through the channel, so they'll be able to talk to you about pricing and setting that.
With regards to the SharePoint, where you're sharing documents like Excel documents and Word documents and things like that, say for example you're updating those documents with new content, is it always going to show you the most updated version?
Yes. Yeah. So whoever I guess updated that file last from I guess whatever device or whatever way they're accessing that'll be the latest version. If there's any issues, you can go back I think to 1,000 different previous versions. So it's archived, if that makes sense.
One of the reasons that we've got people moving over to 365 is because they've got an Exchange server or an SBS server in-house now. So that's not because they're buying a version of Office. This is from our sole point of view of our businesses we're looking after. Is people have got an Exchange server in house. That's either coming end of life, or we've now 2003 SBS finishing next year. They need to put something else in. So you put Microsoft 365 in, you move your Exchange out to the so-called cloud, so off-premise, and for that you get 5 versions of Office, and your Exchange is not in your premises anymore, and Microsoft are looking good for it. And we can migrate you from your existing Exchange now up to the cloud version seamlessly, so you can cut it off on the Friday, and on the Monday everything will be there as it was before, but you're using Microsoft.
Is anybody currently running SBS 2003 or a 2003 version of server? Okay, so I guess you're aware of the deadline next year. Okay.
Looking at the moment as to options.
Okay. Because there's a big risk around PCI compliance as well. So if anybody's got any payment card gateways, they will just shut off if you're running 2003. Unfortunately.
You know, OneDrive, if you've
Yes.
already got a load of documents in Word and Excel,
Yeah.
would that automatically go across anyway? Because
So the sync button is just to get it locally installed on your File Explorer.
I've
Yeah.
got a load of Excel files at the moment in my documents, and I
Yes.
want to put them straight in there. Is it a matter of copying and pasting, or can they just whip it all across very
Oh, you would just
quickly?
have a OneDrive folder, basically, in your File Explorer, and you can just drag and drop files in there, and then it would sync everywhere, whatever device you're using.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about, I've already got files locally installed on my C drive,
Yeah, I mean, we've
and
got
I just want to be able to
two
have
ways.
access
I've
to
got
them.
Some on my C drive, which are just mine.
Sure.
Some on the server, which we share, and we can both, we can all go into.
Sure.
But if you're out and about, you've got to go, can you email me that? Which
Yeah.
obviously that's therefore makes it a bit easier. Another thing I wanted to ask, obviously I do have 365, and
Okay.
I've got it entered on my PC, but I haven't got it on my iPad or my iPhone.
Okay.
So is that done through an app? I'll speak to Mark.
On your
Yes.
course, you get 5 versions.
So
you go onto
we've
your
got at the
portal
moment,
and
you
you
know,
can download them.
we've got
Yeah.
4 signed logins, so
Yeah.
effectively we've got 20 copies, is that what you're saying? Okay, because
But
that's
5 per user.
5 per user, so I could put one, obviously I've got one
Your
on my
home
PC,
machine,
I can
your
put it on my
iPad,
home
your
machine, put it on my
iPhone.
laptop, my iPad and my
Yeah, and they can
iPhone.
all have the OneDrive
That's
link
me
then.
done.
Yeah.
So-
So me only accessing it one place, what a waste. Okay.
So in that scenario, you would, the way we replaced it, that anything in your C drive, which is your personal business storage, just put that into your OneDrive folder, and that would be copying and pasting it into a new area of the File Explorer. And then for any team collaboration, so you mentioned a file server of some sort,
Yes.
is that right? You would just put that into a SharePoint folder.
Okay.
So exactly the same technology, same concept.
Okay.
It's just that's where you go to collaborate. Think of it in that way, yeah. Yeah. And then if you want to share that over email rather than just attaching a file, you would just go, here's a link. Go and edit if you want to. If you can give them those rights, it's up to you. Or look, here's a view of what I'm doing.
If my clients have got it, I'm accountant.
Yeah.
If my clients have got it, then I can share data with
exactly.
them, because obviously that, sometimes clients will say, can you look at my spreadsheet, and they'll email it me, I'll go, that's wrong, and then you've got to go, line so-and-so,
Yeah.
sell this, change that.
Yeah.
So I could just do it.
Yeah, easy as that.
update
And
it,
then
put a big
from
note
the
on it.
iPad, you log in with your 365 credentials. So you would have already downloaded the Office app, which means you can view files, but you can't get editing rights
Yes.
unless you have a 365 subscription. So you log in.
Which I do, yeah.
So assuming you've got 5 copies, it's one of those, just log in. Take it out of your allocation. Cool. Any other questions, Con?
With the link client, you're saying about sharing screens and people using it with IT support.
Yes.
Is that only within Microsoft? If a third party, if I happen to ring up your IT support, could
Yeah.
they use Link to have a look at my desktop and say, I can see your problem here?
Yeah. So we could federate,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So we have a links server that obviously says I approve certain domains, that kind of thing. And then on the other side, they'll say, yeah, these are the domains that I approve.
Okay.
So actually, with a lot of my partners that I support, I've said, yeah, I'm happy for them to be federated to us, and they've done the same with the Microsoft domain.
Right.
And actually, when I type in their email address into Link, assuming they've got Link Online set up, we could see each other. I've got their presence information. It's almost like they're inside my business in a way. And yeah, we could do desktop sharing, all that kind of thing.
So but it
And-
does rely on both parties having Office 365?
Yeah, well, having the Link solution. I mean, they could have Link on premise.
Yeah.
I've talked specifically today about Link Online, but it's just about that federation piece. But it's very easy to do, and also it federates and mixes with Skype as well.
Okay.
So actually, if you've got a customer base that you know, because there's a high penetration of Skype, that you know are probably running Skype, but as a business, you want to be on Link, you could connect those together. So actually, if you want to have some sort of customer service solution, you could say, okay, look, dial in to us via Skype. They don't know that you're running Link in the back end, and you could do all that kind of functionality. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, guys. Cheers.